welcome, Sister Amazons and Witches. I'm Lori the Witchcrafter, and today we're finishing up the winter season. We're finishing up the first year in a day study in the Amazon tradition. So it's Candlemas, and the craft that I always like to do with women who are entering the tradition and doing their first year in a day study is, of course, finishing the cards. So by now, or by the time Candlemas rolls around, you should have finished your entire deck of tarot cards, and you should be laminating them, okay, to preserve the work that you've done. Whether you've cut and pasted on the actual card or done it electronically and printed them out as I have here, it doesn't matter. Go ahead and get them laminated. You can buy a home laminator. They're not that expensive, and that really preserves your cards and actually makes them a little bit easier to work with. But the final craft that we do at Candlemas is to braid our cords, our Coven cords. Now, every tradition has its own style of cords. Some use all one color, some use 3 colors. When we started this tradition several years ago, gosh, it's been almost 6 or 7 years now. Anyway, the women that were with us back then decided to use 4 cords that we would braid together. And the colors would be the elemental colors of yellow to represent the south, red, or the east. Yellow represents the east, red represents the south, blue represents the west, and green represents the north. So we've got earth, air, fire, and water all represented. And the way that you do this is you get however you want to do it, however your group decides to do it, or you as an individual do it. That's totally up to you. But if you're doing the Amazon tradition, we use the 4 elemental colors, and I will show you how to braid those today. But one thing that I want to say about the cords is it's great because you can use them almost as a belt, and if you make the sheaths for like your wand or your athame, they can go right on your cords just like that. The other thing is that, you know, and by now you've figured out I really am a pretty simple girl. I like things fairly simple, but yours, you make your cords your own. You can put beads and bangles and all the whistles and bells you want on your cords. And it doesn't matter what they're made of, whether you want to use a natural material like wool yarn or a synthetic nylon that I've got here. It doesn't matter. Make them your own. Some women in our coven have used ribbon. Others use like a almost like a yard twine and dyed it the colors that they want because they wanted plant fiber. So it's, again, the material that you use, make it your own, but you will need 3 yards or 9 feet of each color. And so come on over to the workbench. I won't be working with the whole 9 yards today because that would be, gosh, almost impossible to show you in a small frame on the video. But we start by taking the ends of the cords and tying them to, say, a chair back, so you can stand far away from it and work with those longer strands. And you just keep braiding one over the other, working either to the right or to the left. And I'll show you how to do that. So let's go get started. Okay, so I have a couple of cords that I have made over the years. This is my cord that I braided when I was initiated into the Dianic tradition. It has 3 strands. As you can see, 3 strands, and it's all red. And now in our Amazon tradition, again, we've chosen 4 strands of yellow, red, green, and blue that you can see there. And this is my, of course, my finished cord. It's a little more complicated to braid 4 cords. You know, most people know the 3, but it's a little more complicated with the 4 cords. So again, each strand starts out as 3 yards long, or 9 feet, however you prefer to measure. But I'm going to set these aside now and show you how to do that 4th. So the easiest way that I found to do this is when they're really, really long, when you've got the 9 feet going. You know, this is only, you know, say 1.5 feet, and that's going to go pretty quickly for us for the video. But when you're doing it, if you choose to do 4 strands, you'll want to begin by maybe knotting these and then overhanding them around, say, the back of a chair, a dining room chair or something like that, if you can. The other option that I'm going to use here is some masking tape. I'm going to take a piece of that and I'm going to tape it down to my workbench. Okay. And then to begin, you begin on the right. You take the right one over, the one next to it, under the one after that, and then over the last one. So the far right cord now became your far left cord. Let me see if I can maybe do it this way, give you a better idea. Okay, so we're starting with the far right cord now, and we're going over and under and over, and it has become the far left. And back to the far right, over, under, over, now green, over, under, and then over. So we've done one full braid. We've come right back to where we were at the beginning. Can go back and tighten all this up. Okay, you can tighten as you go along. I kept it pretty loose so you could actually see it. So here we are back at the beginning. Over, under, over, over, under, over, over, under, over, over, under, over. We're back to where we started with the yellow, being on the far right. Over, under, over, over, under, over. Over, under, over. Over, under, and over. And we continue on. Over, under, over, over, under, over, over, under, over, over, under, over, over, under, and over. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how it works, how you can do it. Let's see if I can get closer for you. Okay, and you just keep going. It'll take you a good while, at least probably half an hour to 45 minutes to do 9 feet, but it is well worth it. And this is the last craft. This is the culmination of your year and a day study in the Amazon tradition. And once you braid your magical cords, your coven cords, you are ready to, one, be initiated into the tradition, or if you choose not to initiate, you're ready to join the coven. And that's it, my sisters. And we will see you next time on the Amazon Witchcrafter when we gather all of the things that we've made this year and take them out and put them on the altar. So we'll see you then.